The markets are moving. We need to check out what's happening and what to watch out for. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and people have been asking me where all these dad jokes come from. Well, some of them I make up, and some of them I get secondhand at the pun shop. You know, one of the best things about dad jokes is that they don't even have to be good, just a pun of some sort and kind of cheesy. But in all honesty, most of them I make up myself. Some of them I've looked up in the past, but honestly, it's just more fun to think about something silly to say. So let's move on from there. Let's get into the markets. We'll talk about SPY, QQQ, IWM. We need to see exactly from a technical standpoint where we're positioned right now and where we are looking to go. And then also I'll give an update on Bitcoin, Enphase, Tesla, and Nvidia. So let's put up SPY. And yesterday in my video, I talked about the importance of clearing the 50-day. Well, we gapped up above that 50-day a little bit yesterday, had a nice little green day in the markets. And so this is something that is continued bullish momentum we have with the RSI up above the 50 and the 200. So those are all green lights as far as that goes. And like I said, this would be status quo likely through this week. And then we'll see as we wrap up the week, depending on how much you move, will there be some profit taking, especially before the CPI comes next week. We need to be on the watch for that. So for SPY, we could watch the thing go up. Shouldn't really have a lot of trouble if we do continue to push higher from here. If we do, we should get up to about 523, maybe 525. That's the range that we're looking for from where we're at right now, which is like about 2%. About is where you can see that 1 to 2%. And if we go back down to the downside, we're looking for support that we get down here on the 50-day. Now, the next thing that we'd be looking for, should we make it up to this previous high, is we're looking to actually put in a higher high than what we had. So we drop way down low, we got a higher low, this high not quite taking over the other one, and then now we're still moving up again. We'll see where that lands us. But if we're going to continue in a bullish direction, we do have to stay up above the 50-day. We do have to break this previous high that you see. Moving over to QQQ. There we are, also above the 50. Not quite clearing it as much as we had for SPY, but that's not important. The fact that we got the full candle above the 50 yesterday, there could leave further upside for us. Doesn't mean it's a straight up path, but we do want to continue to see that 50-day as support. If you take a look at the moving averages that are in red, green, and blue like a traffic light here, green is the 5, and then yellow is the 13, red is the 50. The crosses that we have are actually strong bullish signals to have the faster ones cross over the slower ones, and we're getting close to that yellow crossing over red. If we get 13 over 50, so yellow over red, that can also be further bullishness for us. And that's according to what Stockman would refer to as the bread recipe that he and I had talked about going all the way back to last October, I believe, is when it started shaping up, and that's working out very well. If you haven't seen his channel, make sure that you check it out. Moving over to IWM, couldn't quite take over the 50 going back to Friday of last week. And then yesterday was actually a pretty strong day in the markets as we see clearing finally the 50-day. And so the Russell 2000 stocks, what we need to see here, we need to be careful that we could potentially run into a head and shoulders pattern where we'd have a shoulder over here, we'd have the head right here, and then potentially another shoulder over here. We're going to keep pushing higher and take on these previous highs that we have right around 210 to 211. So we are currently set up momentum-wise to see that, above the moving averages to see that. And again, if we talk about the moving average cross, like I talked about for QQQ, if we get yellow over red, so 13 over 50, that could also be further bullishness for us. We need to be on the lookout for that for IWM. How's Bitcoin shaping up? Bitcoin, peekaboo down below 60,000 and then ripped back up above that. And then potentially, we're getting that EMA cross here. We do keep on getting stopped out right at the 50 EMA. Every time we make up above it, we get a wick and then it sells off and then it closes down below it. Here you can see we closed down at the trend line that we had here before this most recent candle that's shaping up right now. This blue line is the 50 simple moving average. We have to clear that. You can see how quickly we retreated from that. Making it back over that is going to put significant upside back into Bitcoin. And then what we're looking for is to break over 67,000, which is this previous peak. And then we have a green light to pass on from there back up to try out the 70,000 range. Now, mind you, watch that round number resist right at 70,000. That could also be something very difficult to break over. But if we make it back up above that 50-day, that could be very bullish for us. So Bitcoin, not down and out yet. The fact that we're back outside of this trend line to the upside, we could see further upside from here over the next several days. Enphase, as far as solar goes, sniffing out when those rate cuts are going to happen. Look at this. I keep on tracking this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll call that 6, 7 times we've tried out to get over that 200-day, that yellow line that's moving across here. Let's take down the Bollinger Bands for a moment. So just can't quite crack over the 200-day. This is the 50-day in here, both simple moving averages, and just keep on getting rejected every time that we get there. Take a look at the faster moving averages, though. We have a solid cross of green over yellow. So we'll see in the pre-market hours right now, we're actually trading down below the close, trading down near this 50-day. So this is something that as we get closer to the rate cuts happening, and we're hearing about economic strength and especially housing market strength, with the solar, as Enphase is a solar play, this is one that could absolutely come back to strength, and we want to be watching for that. Now, mind you, we had all sorts of 5 and 13 crosses, but you can see that with the 50 right here, every time that we broke out of it, we crossed back down until eventually selling off in early April, and now struggling to get back up to those values. So Enphase definitely has its challenges. It's one that golden cross moment, we keep on getting cheated out of one way or another. We are still continuing to get higher lows on this, and the highs are coming down. There's going to be a breakout moment for Enphase sometime in the near future. So let me draw this on here for you quickly, so that way we can see it. So what we have here, if I put that on, you can see the highs coming down. And let me snag one more ray. There we go. Typically, I prefer rays over segments. Now, mostly, I don't really care that we didn't hit this, but I am showing that we keep on hitting higher lows on this. And what we're doing is we're squeezing down on some sort of value. This thing, watch which trend line it breaks out of. Are we going to break to the top and rocket upward and get that golden cross moment? If we do, that could be significantly bullish. Be on the lookout for that. Or do we break down through the bottom of this thing, which could be significantly bearish? We wouldn't need to look and see, but it looks like right now we're starting to consolidate. Watch the RSI on this, because right now, crossing back up above 50, which is a bullish thing, and we need to see if that holds, because you can see you broke up above it before, but failing to break that. So from a momentum standpoint, breaking over 55 is going to be significant, that we actually get more momentum, allowing us to take further upside advantage of this. So right now, not getting that same momentum. Now, mind you, off the bottom, the lows of that, the momentum isn't quite as poor as it was, at least in a bullish sense, for bearish, still bearish, but more momentum, building momentum all the time. And will this be that time that we actually finally get that breakout moment? If we do, I think it's going to take a little bit more momentum than what we have right now. So that's Enphase. Tesla suffering just a little bit in the pre-market from China news with soft deliveries, which were mostly expected, and then also further competition from other rivals. NIO is actually in that, talking about a low-cost competitor. So that is, let me see if I have it here, Tesla rival NIO to roll out mass market EV brand in May. So I get that. Now, mind you, I didn't read through it yet to see the production numbers that they have. NIO struggles with production in the first place. So even though they might put out a rival vehicle, how long is it going to take to scale it? Is it going to lead to profitability? Tesla really has profitability nailed down right now, with some room to spare for further price cuts if they need to compress margins further in order to dominate in the EV space. And I almost said AI there, but they do have their own AI and robotics part of that. So they're right now they're mostly a vehicle company, an automotive company. However, they have energy part of that. They have AI part of that. Robotics is also something else that they are into. And then we also have full self-driving. We have regulatory credits, things like that are going on for Tesla, that are actually really strong for Tesla, that I think are going to keep it a stock to keep on dollar cost averaging into for myself. And you guys can let me know down in the comments what you're doing on that. The momentum right now is bullish. We're up above the 50-day, and we're darn near getting a cross of yellow over red. So that would be a significant bullish signal to take further upside from here. We do need to keep up above the 50 EMA and SMA, so red and blue that's right here, to see further upside take place. And then finally for Nvidia, there's my price prediction leading up to earnings of $1,000. We came within under 10% of that so far, with still about 2 weeks to go, 2 weeks and a day until we hit November. I'm sorry, my goodness, not November, May 22nd for Nvidia. So we need to be watchful for that. Still possibly within sight, selling off a little bit. We want to stay up above 900, certainly above this trend line, and certainly above 50. But we could still see at least a retest of the all-time highs leading up to those earnings. I think they're going to be highly anticipated. They're going to be hugely market signaling. That's going to say within those 2 weeks, are we going to see further upside in QQQs with the NASDAQ 100 and the AI space? And whatever happens, it's going to be highly influential to what we see where AI is concerned in the first place, especially being that most foundational infrastructure play that we have for AI. So guys, that's my commentary. If you want to hear more of what I have to say, see my buys and sells, talk with me and my community members, there is a link for the Patreon down in the description. Go ahead and click that, sign up, come on over and join us. We'd absolutely love to have you over there. Also down in the description, you'll find a link for a technical analysis trading course. You can also click that and sign up and then learn to take your trading game to a next level through the power of technical analysis. And then finally, guys, as always, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.